So as we begin this practice in child's pose, have the knees a bit apart, big toes together. Fold your body over, reach your arms out in front. Let your arms and head be heavy down onto the mat. Torso, finding some weight and release in the space between the legs. Notice what parts of your torso are connected to your thighs. The weight of your shins, the front of the feet against the yoga mat. Just take notice. The awareness, the detail that can come here on our yoga mat helps us to be in the present moment. It's just one reason that the postures always help me. No worries except for this breath, this present moment. We'll focus there today, and in that way, each imperfect placement really does become perfect in this moment. Reach the arms out long now so that there's a little bit more stretch and reach involved. Pop up to the fingertips, lift the forearms, elbows, upper arm bones to the sky. Walk the hands over towards the right side. You can walk a little bit, you can walk a lot. What's feeling right for you? Then come back across the center and do that to the second side, all the way over to the left. Bring it back into the center. Come on up to all fours. To start all fours today, turn the hands out so that your thumbs face the front end of your mat, fingers towards the outside, and just ever so slightly rock forward and back. A little bit side to side. Good, and then we're going to turn the hands around another 90 degrees so that the fingers face back towards the knees, thumbs out towards the sides. Same thing, can you rock a little bit forward and back? And if that's too intense, keep it with thumbs out, fingers out. And then try a little bit of a circular motion here. If the circular motion works, go in both directions. It's a great way to strengthen and stretch through wrist and forearms. Slowly turn the hands back around so that the fingers face the front of the mat like general. And do cat and cow. This is the last Tuesday practice of the month. Continuing to focus on upper body extensions, back bends here before we move into November. Downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Practice downward facing dog. As it is, it's a back bend. If you bend the knees a lot, press your hands down and forward and really do the work to lift through the shoulders, lengthen the spine. So if I keep that bend in my knees, I have a lot more room for the length of the spine. Otherwise, my hamstrings start to get in the way. Most of us are that way. So a little more bend in the knees and you'll find more spinal extension. Feel free to always keep that bend today. Always when we practice. Pedal out the feet. Two more breaths in this downward facing dog. And then come forward to plank pose. As you come to plank pose, draw the shoulders right over the backs of your wrist. Remember, we're gripping the earth underneath all 10 fingers with a little more pressure into your thumb and first finger rather than the rest of the hand. That helps to keep us from dumping the weight in the back of the wrist so that you can keep practicing this asana, this posture, long time. Stay at the top of plank here. Straight arms. Look a little bit forward. Give it a couple of more breaths. And then lie flat down onto your belly. Reach your hands back towards your feet. Turn the palms face up and lift everything that you can up. Stay with locust pose. And then as you lower down, I want you to flip over onto your back today. So flip over on your mat, pull your knees into your chest. And do little circles with your knees on the ceiling. We're going to do our first lunges, if you will, here on our back today. Circle the knees in the opposite way. And then hold on to just the right leg and send your left leg down to the yoga mat. The left leg can go all the way down. For a little bit more ease, go to the sole of the foot. You choose. Then we're taking the right leg, half happy baby. Pull the foot so that it's trying to stand on the ceiling. And then you're holding onto the foot with the right hand and trying to pull down. So you could call this a supine lunge, a lunge lying on the ground. Notice how that picture's the same, but you're not having to do the weight to hold yourself up. Hopefully a nice full stretch, an opening in the right side on the hip. Take your left hand, place it on your thigh, and just kind of imagine the lengthening process there in the bottom leg. Take the right ankle over the left thigh in a figure 4 shape here. There's a lot of rocking in circles today. Kind of rock your legs back and forth, side to side. And then if you take that in a circular motion without using the hands, I'll notice I have to engage in the abdomen. So circling the legs. And then circle in the opposite way. Set both feet back down onto the mat. Bridge pose. Reach the hands down towards your heels and lift the belly up, lift the hips up. Bridge pose. This last Tuesday of the month, you'll notice I almost always do a little bit more of a stretch-focused class. I'm just aching for it in my bones by the end of the month. Lower it down. And now we're holding left knee in. Give it a good squeeze. Extend the right leg. And then take half happy baby here. To get to the foot, you might want to curl your head and shoulders up. Hold on. And then try to lie the head and shoulders back as you bring the foot to face more straight up towards the sky, the sole of the foot. And there's force in this pose. I'm trying to take my left hand and really pull down to get the left thigh closer to the earth. And from there, cross the ankle over the right knee. Do your best for a figure 4 shape, but no hands for this one right now. And we're just rocking from side to side. Good, and then take it in the circular motion. Abdominal engagement as you take that lower half of the circle each time. And circle in the opposite way. Okay, hug both knees into your chest. Lift the head and shoulders off the mat. Give it even more of a squeeze, that real strong present moment hug. As you lower it down, take the soles of the feet to the mat. Do one more bridge pose, opening up with breath and body. Lower the hips back down to the ground. And again, I want you to flip back over onto the belly. That really wide cobra. Take the hands wider than your yoga mat to fingertips. Point the elbows up to the sky. Legs as wide as your yoga mat. So your feet touch each side of the mat. Give your butt and legs a little bit of a wiggle. Try to let them relax a little bit here so that the cobra that comes in, inhale, lift up, is less of a squeeze in the glutes than I might normally instruct. Try to be a little softer in the legs and give yourself this opening from the spine. Pulse a bit up and down as you breathe. I want to make sure this doesn't hurt in the low back, which means maybe you're not lifting up quite as high if you're feeling any pinching, or you do need some squeeze and activation in the glutes to help to strengthen and protect the low back. Kind of play with that. And then I want you to pulse one shoulder down at a time. So keeping right shoulder lifted, take several breaths with the left shoulder kind of moving down and forward. Switch it over to the other side. I've received some emails and such after class the next day, like, what did we do to make me so sore? And this movement, as simple as it might be, a little bit different than normal, seems to have gotten a few of us over the month. We're back to central. We're Continuing to pulse with the breath up and down a little bit here. Belly down, back extensions. Good stuff. And then lie flat down. Take the arms straight out in front of you like superhero. Inhale and lift everything that you can up. Now squeeze the glutes a lot. Do all that we can to help ourselves with the lift. Look a little bit forward even. And then exhale, release it down. Press back to child's pose. And change to downward facing dog. Remember, down dog with a little more bend in the knees today. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in. Try to be soft and spacious at the tops of the shoulders. Now change to the right leg high, three-legged dog. So lift the right leg up for three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, much like we did the lunge lying down on our back. Imagine this is a lunge lifted upside down in three-legged dog. Try to point the right knee up towards the sky. The foot comes closer towards the left shoulder. And then do your big circles, knee down and around, down and around. And then circle in the opposite direction. Noticing the strength and containment necessary in the upper body at the same time. Lower the right leg down to the floor now, full downward facing dog. Stay with that strength that's necessary. And do the second side. Lift the left leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Trace your circles down and around. 2 circles on each leg. Two circles each direction on each leg. Get all my words together. And then set the left leg down. Shoulders probably burning by now. Come forward to plank pose. Carefully, safely. So for me, that's going to be knees down first. Come down to your forearms. And then once on the forearms, if the knees can come back up, do. Or keep them down. Forearm lunge here. Look a little forward past the hands. Try to keep that long line of the body. Strong squeeze in the glutes. Activate the legs to help you out. One more breath. And then climb back up to the hands. Back to downward facing dog. Walk your hands backwards to your feet. Ragdoll position, the back of the mat, hold on to the elbows. Let yourself be heavy. Let a few sighs out through the breath, all the things that feel nice here. First time coming all the way up in this practice, slowly roll up to standing. Shoulders up and back. Make your way to the front of the mat. Stand in mountain pose, Tadasana. Every single time I'm in Tadasana, I think of the very first Yoga Sutra, and now begins the practice of yoga. Bring yourself into the present moment. Stay with it in this flow. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Extend the spine from the hips out to the head. Reach, reach, reach. Step back to plank here. Lower flat down to the mat. Cobra, peel the chest up, press down through the front of the legs. Change to downward facing dog. Stay with the breath, stay with down dog here, a couple of breaths. Look forward to your hands, step or jump to the front end of the yoga mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms overhead. Palms together, center of the chest. Nice, we do it all over again. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower to the mat. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, step or jump forward. Half lift. Forward fold. Reach up, stand up. Palms together, center of the chest. Surya Namaskar B starts with Utkatasana. Bend the knees, sit into the thighs. Extend the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. Cobra. Down dog. Step your right foot forward to a lunge. Spin your back heel down. Come all the way up to warrior one. Arms overhead, head, shoulders, hips all face towards the front of the mat. Stay for one more breath here. And then lower the hands back down. Step through plank. Lower the mat. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward. Back heel down. Come upright, extend the arms overhead. Warrior one, second side. Excellent. Lower the hands down, step back to plank, to the mat. Peel the chest up. Go back to downward facing dog. Pause here, breathe here. Yoga Sutra 1.2 says yoga is the stilling of the mind, or sometimes something like the fluctuations of the mind come to stillness. Look forward to your hands now. Step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Forward fold, the postures, the movement. Keep us within that presence. Utkatasana. Stand up, reach. Palms together, center of the chest. Body active, mind focused, present. Less fluctuations. Tree pose. Place the right foot onto the left leg. Place the foot at the thigh or at the calf. Reach both arms up to the sky. Keep your tree pose leg, but change to eagle arms. Cross the right elbow under the left. Hold on to the shoulders for most ease, or the back of the hands or the front of the hands. Now change the right leg to eagle pose. Wrap it over the left leg. Bend the knee back like you were going to Utkatasana. Right foot stays out to the side or squeezes close to the left calf, or even try to tuck the toes straight down behind the calf. Be as vertical as possible. Keep breathing. Release the right leg, release both arms. Give it a little bit of a shake. Begin again, Tadasana. Tree pose, left foot onto the right leg. Start with tree pose. Stretch the arms up to the sky. Hold your gaze steady, but start to change the pose. Left elbow under the right for eagle arms. Any of the 3 hand positions, shoulders, back of hands, front of hands. And then leg over your right side. Left leg over the right, bend both knees so that you sit into eagle pose. Try squeezing your left foot against the outer right calf or tuck it behind. And release, left leg down. Shake out the arms, come back to Tadasana. And then standing forward fold, bend the knees enough to set the fingertips down to the mat. Keep all 10 fingers on the mat, but make the legs as straight as they'll go. Healthy back bends require some space and length in the hamstrings. Power and length in the quads. Space in hips. All of it needs to come together. Be here. Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. Give it 2 more breaths. And then keep your right foot forward. Slide your left foot back into a lunge. You're used to this one. Right hand up to the sky and twisted lunge. Take both hands to the inside of your foot. Lower the left knee down to the mat. And then come lower to forearm lunge. So flat palms, a bend of the elbows, or as it's noted, all the way down to the forearms. I didn't grab my blocks today. That feels like a lot. Feel free to stay more lifted rather than to suffer low if that's your experience right now. It was for me, so I'm just going to come up a little bit, no biggie. For the last 2 breaths of forearm lunge, can you take the back knee off of the ground if it was down? Big full stretch through that back hip flexor as well. And then carefully set the left knee down. Walk the hands on either side of the front foot. And step forward. So back knee comes back up, step forward. Standing forward fold, Uttanasana, at the front end of your yoga mat. Okay, second side, slide your right foot back until we're in our long, low lunge. It starts with knee up. Take the left hand high in your revolved lunge. And then left hand to the inside of your foot. A lot of times I walk that front foot a little bit more over to the long edge of the mat that it's closest to. And then if you're going lower, if you do that on the outside hand first, so you're kind of leaning away from the front leg, you might notice you have a little bit more space. And Sometimes I stop right there. So right now I've got my left foot forward and the right forearm down, and just giving enough space to keep the left arm up. Notice the difference if you try to close it down. Is that still working for you? Oops, I had my back knee up the whole time. Set it down for a few breaths. Give yourself some ease with that. And then for at least 2 breaths of the pose, I've asked us back knee up. Set the back knee down to make the transition easiest. Walk it back up to the hands. Go hands on either side of the front foot. And then we'll lift the back knee and step forward. Uttanasana, again, that's standing forward, fold big, stretch the hamstrings. Trying to give a good release through the front side of the body at the same time. Okay, hands to the waist, elbows to the sky, press down into your feet, come all the way up. Lift your right hand to the sky. I'll mirror you guys now and reach over, little crescent pose. Take the other hand. Can you reach maybe just the tip top of your knee as you reach? Come back to neutral, switch sides, other hand up. Reach up, get all of your height, and then over. Good squeeze in the glutes. The bottom hand tries to walk down the outer edge of the thigh towards the knee. Not putting pressure, just the reach. Oh, that's hard. Come back to the center. Let's lie all the way flat down onto the mat again. So we're going belly down to the mat again. And superhero, reach the arms forward. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more repetition. So again, if your upper back is a bit sore tomorrow, it's probably from this. Inhale, lift everything that you can. And then go to goddess arms. Bend at the elbows, kind of pull back. Go straight arms. Do it 2 more times like that. Goddess arms. We're trying to stay lifted the entire time here. Straight arms. Bend the elbows, pull back. Like a lat pull down, goddess. Straighten the arms. And lower down. Flip over onto your back. A lot of back and forth today there. Take both knees into your chest. And then do happy baby. Elbows to the inside of your knees. Hold on to the outsides of your feet. So we did this 1 leg at a time at the beginning, now 2 legs. This is a subtle difference, but in happy baby, usually we have our knees naturally and feet naturally turned out to the side. What happens if you try to squeeze your inner thighs around your outer belly and sort of hug the knees and feet more parallel to one another, and then let them out. Hug back in. Release the squeeze so knees and feet turn out a little bit. Release the feet, take them down to your yoga mat. Okay, so when we do a full wheel pose, it's very often taught with knees, feet straight, parallel to one another. I want us to try bridge pose. That's how I usually teach bridge pose as well. First that way. So again, reach the hands down towards the heels. And lift your hips up. So it's a nice, strong, held container. As if the inner thighs are still squeezing in towards each other. A lot of times we place a block between the thighs so we can actually feel that squeeze. You can imagine it here. And then lower the hips down. And then think of the feet and knees a little bit more like happy baby, and we'll do the same thing. So allow the toes to just slightly turn out, the knees slightly turn out at the same rate, so it's still knees over the middle of the feet. And then lift up for bridge pose. Notice the difference. Not trying to label one good, bad, but just staying present with what's working here. And then lower it down. And then I'd ask you to try the same thing, more parallel, a little more squeeze, hug in towards the midline. As you take the hands for upward facing wheel, take the hands by your shoulders, and it's that full 180-degree turn of the hands like we practiced at the very beginning of class. It feels a little backwards. You should be able to see your elbows in your peripheral vision. Okay, and whether you're going up to press on the head or not, it all starts here, and then you do bridge pose. Keeping feet, knees, everything parallel, elbows in your peripheral vision. Choose to stay right there in the bridge pose version with the hands, or can you push enough weight into your feet so that it's not too much to lift your head up off of the ground, set the top of the head on the mat. Keep that strong midline squeeze and try pressing the arms as straight as possible as you lift the chest up. If you're up, lower all the way back down. Tuck the chin as you come down for safety. Let yourself breathe and pause for a moment. And then we're going to try that same pose with a bit of the turn out. So think happy baby, and you've set the feet down. So toes, knees are a little turned out. Feet themselves wider apart, so you just have a little bit more width in that low base of the body. Okay, let's see what happens here. Place the hands. Do your same bridge pose first. And again, you're either staying right here, you've got to use a strong press in the shoulders and back of the head so the neck is not flat against the mat. Or some weight transfers into your feet so you can press through the hands to the top of the head. Play with the hands. Maybe they need to go a little wider, just like your feet are a little wider as well. And can you go off of the head? Press the arms as straight as possible, chest forward and through. How's it work for you in the legs here? Stay with the breath, stay with this moment. And then come on back down, nice, safe and slow, all the way back down. Couple of breaths. From those experiences, if you want to try one more big full back bend, please go for it. If you want to do one more bridge pose, please go for it. If you want to stay lying on the mat, hug the knees in. That's your third option. I'm taking that one. Again, not labeling those positions, good, bad, just how did that feel for you? And perhaps your next present moment back bend is a little bit more informed about how you wish to set up to make it a great practice. Okay, if you're not already, hug the knees into the chest. Move the wrist around in a circle one direction and a circle the opposite direction. And then sit on your hands. Legs straight up into the sky. And I want you to make circles. We're doing all the circular motion today with your legs. Knees can bend to make that more doable. Keep the legs straight if it works. Like a very slow leg raise, leg lower. You're making circles down towards the mat. And then when you reach your low point, make circles in the opposite direction, back up towards the sky. Go one more time. Go down towards the floor. It's taking me, 6, 8 circles to get towards the low point. And then same to get towards the high point. Come back up. All right, last posture. Take the hands out to a T, set both knees down over towards your right side in a supine twist. You can make any adjustments here that you'd like in this twist version. Lower the knees over to the other side. And then come back into the middle and find your last pose of stillness. If you'd like to lie back, as we might traditionally say Shavasana, do that. You can do a prone Shavasana on your belly, a side-lying Shavasana, or take a seat. Allow yourself 5 more deep breaths in that position of stillness. Then from those breaths, make your way back to a seated position if you're lying down. I always invite us to chant the sound Om at the end of class. It's an auspicious sound that's said to gather the beginning, middle, and end of all things. Anytime I come to chant the sound Om, I know that I am fully present. And I hope us chanting at the end of class helps to keep you more present in each moment of the coming day. Empty out the breath here. Sing along or listen. Take a breath in. I bow in much gratitude to you, each other, and for this practice. Thank you all. Okay, have a lovely Tuesday.